Hello everybody, welcome to CCNA Packet Tracer activity, which is 12.9.2. On this Packet Tracer activity, I'm going to be showing you how to connect your routers and switch to your computer, and I'll also be showing you how to configure your IPv6 address manually on your routers and switches. So by the end of this lab, we should be able to see a completion of 100% on our Packet Tracer lab. And it's going to be an interesting lab, so without further ado, let's get started. So first, as you can see, we have to configure we have to connect our routers, our switch to our computer. So we can start with that. So first, what I'm going to be doing here is you can see you have cables on your right side of your lab. So we're going to pick a cable, and first we're going to do is connect PC8 to switch number 1. So we're going to have to be using a copper straight-through cable because we use a copper straight-through cable to connect different types of devices to each other. So for example, if we want to connect PCA to switch 1, we use copper straight-through cable. Same thing, switch 1 to R1 because they are different devices. But if we want to connect PCA with PCB without any devices in between, we can use the crossover cable. So, but for this scenario, we're going to be using the copper straight-through cable. So for this activity, it says connect PCA to switch fast internet number 6. So I'm going to be picking a copper straight-through cable here, and I'm just going to magnify it so that you guys can see. I hope everybody can see. So it says we have to plug it on the fast internet number 6 on our S1, which is our switch number 1. So we have to count. So the way we count it is not horizontally, so we have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. So the first cable goes through switch number 6, fast internet number 6, and it goes to our PCA. So we're going to go down to PCA, which is this one, PCA and PCB. So this is PCA. And on our PCA, we have to connect it to our fast internet 0 right here. So this is what our connection looks so far. So again, from switch fast internet number 5, as you can see here, from fast internet number 5, we have to go to our gigabit internet 0/0/1. So again, we're going to pick a copper straight-through cable. Let me magnify it for you. So again, we're going to have to count. It says fast internet number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this goes to our gigabit internet 0/0/1. So which is going to be right here. If you hover your mouse over, you'll be able to see the number. So it's going to be right here. And now from gigabit 0/0/0, we have to connect to PCB. So let me pick another cable. So it's going to be gigabit 0/0/0. I'm going to magnify it a little bit more. So if I hover my mouse, you can see it says gigabit internet 0/0/0. I'm going to plug it there. And then I'm going to plug the other into my PCB. So which is going to be which is my PCB here. I'm going to hook it to my fast internet 0. Okay, so now we're done with that. So we need to access the command line interface of the switch and routers. So we have to use a console cable for that. So I'm going to use a console cable. First, let me go to my switch. I have to right click it, inspect rare because it's on the back. This is my console port, so I'm going to plug it there. And then the other end goes to my PCB RS232. Plug it there. And I'm going to pick another one for my router. So if I hover my mouse, you can see it says console, which is on the front. All right. As you can see, it says console. I plug it there. Let me zoom out a little bit. And then I plug it on my PCA. So I plug it right here. So now I'm going to be able to access my router from PCA, and I'm going to be able to access my switch from PCB. So I have to turn on both the computers. So I'm going to just press on them. As well, I'm going to have to turn on my router. Just press on it, it turns on. And then now I'm going to click on PCA. Go to my desktop, click on terminal, click on OK. So as you can see, it's starting up. While it starts, let me just go to the instruction real quick. So it tells us to cable the network and configure basic router and switch settings. So we already cabled our PCs. So we can go to the next one. It says configure the router, assign the host name, and configure the basic device settings. So by now our router should be able to start. It has already started. I'm just gonna say no because we need to configure it. So now I'm gonna have to go. To my privilege mode. I'm gonna type enable. As you can see, I'm on my privilege mode right now. So we're gonna have to rename our router to R1, as you can see here. So, but right now it says router. So I'm gonna go to my configuration terminal, and I'm gonna just type hostname, and then I'm gonna have to do R1. So press enter. So now you can see that my hostname says R1 instead of router. So we're done with that. I'm just gonna exit. Okay, so the next step is gonna be, oh, it says also configure the switch, but we can come back to the switch, or I can just do it now actually. So I'm gonna go to desktop. Oh, we haven't turned on the PC, so just press this. Desktop terminal, press OK. And then the way we configure the hostname is going to be the same as the router. We go to our configuration configure terminal, and then I'm going to have to type hostname. I'm going to put S1, as you can see here, to our switch number 1. I'm going to have to press enter and then exit. Right, so if you can track your packet tracer completion so far, we have gone 33%. So we just need to go for 70% more. So we're gonna have to continue with it. I'm gonna scroll down and see what instructions we have. So it says configure IPv6 address manually. In this part, you'll manually configure IPv6 address on all devices in the network. Okay, we will do that. So step 1, it says assign the IPv6 addresses to Ethernet interface on R1, which is our R1, which is the PCA device. So we have two interfaces, gigabit 000, as you can see it here on my addressing table. If I can zoom in a little bit, let me see. Okay, I hope you can see it. So it says R1 has two interfaces, and we have an IPv6 address. We need to put that on our router. So let's do that right now. We go to terminal, press OK, go to my configuration terminal, and then I'm gonna have to type interface G0/0/0, which is gonna be our first interface. So right now I'm on my gigabit Ethernet interface 0/0/0. So I'm gonna put the IPv6 address. You type IPv6 address, put the IPv6 address that you see on the addressing table, which is 201.db8 ACAD/A1. Press enter. Oh, it says incomplete command. I just forgot to put the subnet mask, which is the /64. Put /64, press enter now. So now it has taken the IPv6 address. You have to write down no shutdown command to change the Ethernet interface state to up. Right now it's down. So over here you can see that it says change state to up. I press enter again. So now we're done with the gigabit interface 0/0/0. So we need to configure the interface 0/0/1. So we have to put interface G0/0/1, press enter, and then we have to do IPv6 address. And we do the same thing, we just put the IPv6 address that we see on our addressing table. So db8 ACAD/1.1. Then this time we won't forget our subnet mask, which is /64. Press enter. So we have to do the no shutdown command, press enter. Now it says change state to up. So now we have configured both the IPv6 address on our router. I press enter again, I exit, and let's see what instruction we get. It says verifies that the correct IPv6 unicast address is assigned to each interface. So we can verify that, but first we have to go to the privilege mode back. Now we're on the privilege mode. As you can see, you can see a pound sign instead of configuration. So I can write down, there's multiple ways we can see this. We can do the show run command, or just we can do the show IPv6 interface. So if I press enter, let me just do brief. It's actually the same thing. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to zoom it a little bit so that everybody can see it. So as you can see, our 000 us IPv6 address is here, 2001 db8 ACAD A.1. And for our gigabit 001, we have our IPv6 address right here, as you can see. And so that means we have configured both of them correctly. Also, if you can do it with the show run command, which is the show running configuration. As you can see here, Ethernet 0/0/0 has an IPv6 address of this /64, and our 001 gigabit Ethernet interface has the IPv6 of 2001 right here, as you can see. So we have verified that successfully. So let's see what instruction we have next. It says, note, the link local address FE80 displayed is based on EUI64 addressing, which automatically uses the interface media access control MAC address to create a 128-bit IPv6 link local address. So what's basically saying is, the process, which is a EUI64, it just means the extended unique identifier. So it ensures that each interface on a network has a unique link local address based on its unique MAC address, and the link local address that's used for communication between the devices on the same network segment, and it does not need to be globally routable. So this extended unique identifier, takes the MAC address and uses to create a 64-bit identifier for the IPv6 link local address. So, that's what it's basically saying. So we can just go to the next one, and it says here, to get the link local address to match the global unicast address on the interface, manually enter the link local address on each of the Ethernet interface on R1. So on both interfaces, we need to give it a link local address. We can use the FE80.1. We can use it on both interfaces, and the reason we're using it is on both of the interfaces is because the link local doesn't matter if we use the same link local address as long as it's on the same network. But if I go to my switch, I'm gonna have to be using a different link local address. So I mean, if it makes sense. So on the same network, we use the same link local address. It doesn't matter because it's on the same network segment. But if it's on a different network segment, we have to use a different link local address. So for our router, we can give our link local address. I'm going to go back to my configuration terminal, press enter. I go to my Ethernet interface G0/0/0, press enter, and I put IPv6 address. And then I'm going to have to give it the link local address, which is FE80.1. And then I'm going to have to write down link local. So I'm done with my gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. I'm going to have to exit. And then I go to my interface G0/0/1. I do the same command, IPv6 address, and then same link local. As I told you, it doesn't matter giving it the same link local for both interfaces because they're on the same network. Link local, press enter, and then I put exit. So now we're done with the link local address. Let's go back and see if we have any further instructions to do. So let me see here quick. Okay, each router interface belongs to a separate network. Packets with a link local address never leaves the local network, therefore you can use the same link local address on both interfaces. It's just something that we were talking about. As I said, it doesn't matter if we use the same link local if it's on the same network. Uh, so next it says use a command of your choice to verify that the link local address has been changed to FE80.1. We can do that. So we have to go to our privilege mode first, as we saw before. So show IPv6, show IPv6 interface. If I type out this command, I should be able to see that my link local address is FE80.1, colon 1, same thing on both interfaces. And as you can see, both of our interfaces are at up right now, their state. So that means we're good over there. Let's see what we get next. It says which two multicast groups have been assigned to interface G0/0/0. Uh, let's see that. So I can put again show IPv6 interface, and then I put my interface that I was asked, which is G0/0/0, G0/0/0. Press enter. Oh, show IPv6 interface. I just put it an extra slash, so I can do it right here. So here it says which two multicast groups have been assigned to interface G0/0/0. This is our multicast group, which you can see on our joint group address. So we have these two addresses. So next we can it says step 2, enable IPv6 routing on R1. So right now it's not enabled. So from PCB command prompt, enter the ipconfig command to examine the IPv6 address information assigned to PC interface. So we can go to PCB, but this time we're going to go to the command prompt, not to the switch. We go to command prompt, and it's asking us to do the ipconfig command. So to see the IPv6 address, it says has the IPv6 unicast address has been assigned to the network interface card on PCB. So you remember we have already assigned our IPv6 address, but we don't see it here. So we only see our link local IPv6 address, but other than that, we don't see anything here. So our answer is going to be no. It says on C right here, use a command to verify. Oh, I'm sorry. So we're on B. It says use IPv6 unicast routing command to enable IPv6 routing on R1. So we can do that, but first the IPv6 routing is just enables communication between devices on different subnets. So when I do the IPv6 unicast routing, it enables PCB to communicate with PCA. So now I'm gonna be doing that. So I'm gonna go back to my configuration terminal. All right, so I'm gonna go to my interface G0/0/0 first, and then I give the command IPv6 unicast routing. I'm just putting this command right here, which is our unicast routing command. So I exit out. Oh, before I exit, I should have done the other interface that we have, G0/0/1. I go back to my configuration terminal, interface G0/0/1. Do the same thing, IPv6 unicast routing. I mean, if we do it on one of the interface, we really don't need to do this again. But I just did it. So I exit out. So right now I'm on my privilege mode. So next it says use a command to verify the new multicast group is assigned to interface G0/0/0. Notice the all router multicast group FF02 column 2 now appears for interface G0/0/0. Let's check that real quick. I go back to my configuration terminal and then I go to my oh sorry I shouldn't have went to my I should go back to my privilege mode so because right now we're just going to be seeing our interface. So now I put show IPv6 interface for gigabit ethernet G0/0/0/0. Press enter. So as you can see here, it says our joint group address. You can see it right here and right here. So we can see that we already have the FF02 column number 2, as you can see it here. So we have already seen that. It says, note this will allow PCs to obtain the IP address and default gateway information automatically using stateless address auto configuration, which is known as Slack. So part D, now that R1 is part of the all router multicast group FF02, which is right here, from PCB reissues the ipconfig command and examines the IPv6 address information. So right now we should be able to see the IPv6 information. I'm going to put the same ipconfig command and see. So as you can see right now, you see IPv6 address 201 db8 ACAD is part of the IPv6 address on PCB. So that's what we just did. And it says next it says why did PCB receive the global routing prefix and subnet ID that you configured on R1? So this is because of the router advertisement message. So we can just we can say it's because the R1 is responsible for routing packets between subnets through router advertisement message, and the PCB was able to learn this information from the advertisement. So that's how PCB receives the global routing prefix and the subnet ID that we configured on R1. So I'm going to go to step number 3, assign IPv6 address to the management interface SVI on S1, which is going to be on our switch number 1. Assign the IPv6 address for S1, also assign a link local address for this interface. So we're going to go to our switch number 1. And by the way, if you see your completion on the packet tracer, we have completed almost 80% of it. So we just have a few more to go. So I'm gonna go out of my command prompt, go to my terminal so that I can access my switch through my console. So I'm gonna type enable first. I'm on my privilege mode now. I'm gonna have to go to my configuration terminal. Right now I'm on my configuration terminal, as you can see on the screen. So I'm gonna have to go to my interface VLAN 1. So I go to my interface VLAN 1, and then I'm gonna have to assign my IPv6 address, which is gonna be 2001 column db8 column ACAD column 1 column B. I'm just putting the IPv6 address that I see here, and I put my /64. Press enter. I probably missed a step here. I mistyped something. Let's see, 2001 db8 ACAD column 1 column B /64. All right, so let me just take another look here because this should have worked. IPv6 address. Right, let's just troubleshoot real quick. I'm just gonna type it again, just to make sure. IPv6 address 2001 column db8 column ACAD colon 1. Oh, I forgot to put 2 colon probably. I press enter. Now it has accepted the command. I just didn't put the double column in here. You know, sometimes you miss things, so that's what happened here. So I'm gonna have to put my no shutdown command to put my state to up. It's already up. I press enter now. So again, we have to issue the link local address. So I'm gonna have to do the IPv6 address FE8. Remember, we can't use the one because we already used uh, the one on our PCA, which is on our router. So now we're gonna have to use based on our MAC address. We're gonna have to give it a B and then do link local. So now we have given it a link local address. So I exit out of this and let's see what we have next. It says use a command of your choice to verify IPv6 address are properly assigned to the management interface. But before that, let's see where we stopped. So assign IPv6, also assign link local address, which we already did. It says note the switch will automatically receive the default gateway address from the array message sent by the router. It will use the source IPv6 address of the array message, which is the router advertisement message, which is the router's link local address. However, your version of packet tracer may not yet support this on the switch. Okay, so on B it says use a command of your choice to verify that IPv6 address are properly assigned on the management interface. Just do that. Since say show IPv6 or interface on our interface VLAN 1. So we can see here we have our IPv6 address that we just configured. Okay. And this is our multicast group. So next we will see what we get next. So we just verified that by going to our interface. Next it says verify into-in connectivity. It says from PCA ping FE80 colon 1. This is the link local address assigned to gigabit 0/0/1 on R1. We can do that. All right. Oh, actually, I'm gonna have to go to my command prompt. I thought I already did. So we see that we have 0 loss. We have all 4 packets has went through. It says from PCA use the trace RT command to verify that you have Intuit connectivity with PCP. So we take our PCP IPv6 address. I'm just gonna copy this. But something we just missed here is step number 4, which says assign static IPv6 address to PCs. Obtain the IP configuration within window on each PC and assign IPv6 address. It says verify both PCs have the correct IPv6 address information. Each PC should have 2 global IPv6 address, one static and one slack. So we have to go to the IP configuration and we just have to make sure our PCA have the right IPv6 address. So one is going to be DHCP and let's say we have a link local, but we have to put our IPv6 address, which is going to be right here, as you can see, 2001. It starts with that. So we're going to do 201 colon DB8 colon ACAD colon 1 colon 3. We have a /64. For our default gateway, we have to do the FE80 column 1. FE80 column 1, that's going to be our default gateway. So we close this. We're going to have to go to the PCB, do the same thing. We go to, we cancel this. We go to the IP configuration, and then we have to correct the static IPv6 address, which we don't have any at this point. So we're going to have to put the PCB's IPv6 address, which is going to be 201 column DB8 column ACAD column A column 3, just writing it from here. And then we put our /64 subnet mask, and then the default gateway is going to be FE80 column 1, and we press X. So we're done with this. By the way, quick reminder, by now we have completed our packet tracer activity. As you can see here, it is a completion of 100%. But if you can just stick with me for a couple more minutes, I'm going to answer the questions that are below so that you can understand the activity very well. So it says from PCA ping FE80, which we already did. It says from PCA use traceRT command to verify that you have end-to-end connectivity to PCB. So we can do that. We go to our command prompt. This time, instead of ping, we use the traceRT command, and then we ping our PCB, which is going to be 2001 column DB8 column ACAD column A column 3. As you can see here, we only have 2 hops, so it's only we only went through 2, and with 0 microsecond, so that means we don't have no latency. So it has been successfully completed. If you see an asterisk mark, sometimes some devices are configured so that they don't receive traceRT and ping command, but most of the time it's because when you don't have connectivity, when you can't reach the other network, you'll see an asterisk mark and it says, destination unreachable or some kind of error message. But on this case, we have 100% the packet has went through. So on the next one, it says from PCB ping PCA. We can do that. We go to my PCB, which is right here. I put PCB, go to my command prompt. It says ping PCA. So our PCA IPv6 address is going to be right here. So 2001 DB8 ACAD 1 column 3. As you can see here, all of our packets have went through. So we have that means successfully configured our routers and switches, and now both of our PCs are able to communicate. So it says over here, let me magnify it. Let me zoom in a little bit. It says if end-to-end connectivity is not established, troubleshoot your IPv6 address assignments to verify that you entered the address correctly on all devices. So, just if you're not getting the same results that I'm getting, just go back to the video, make sure if you've missed a step, track where you have misconfigured your router or your switch IPv6 addresses, and try to see what you did wrong. So on the bottom, we have a reflection question. So the first one says, why can the same link local address FE80 column 1 be assigned on to both Ethernet interfaces on R1? So I've mentioned this before when I was configuring the routers. So the answer is, it's because they are in the same local network. So if they are in the same local network, we can use the same link local address. So for our next one, it says, what is the subnet ID of the IPv6 unicast address, which is 2001 DB8 ACAD AAA 1234/64 if the global routing prefix is /48. So our subnet ID is always on the 4 section. So we go 1, 2, 3, and right here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. You're seeing the abbreviated format of the IPv6. So Over here you see double column, so that tells you in between there is a 0000. So when you go to your fourth section, that's your subnet ID, so you're gonna put that as your subnet ID. So that's gonna be it. Thanks everybody for watching this till the end. If you have any questions, please put a comment below and I'll make sure to answer your questions. And if there's any packet tracer activities that you're having trouble with, please put it in the comment below and I'll make sure to put a video on it. Thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, bye.